Today's Fun in the Lawn project, I compared the spray output of these three sprayer heads. So we're not worried about the particular chemical in the bottle. I'm just using those to hold some colored mixture for comparison of the ounces per thousand square feet and the gallons per minute of each of these sprayer heads. Now all three of these are Green Garden K-1 sprayers, but when you put together a product, you can specify the mixing ratio of the K-1 sprayer, and looking at them, you're really not going to be able to tell as an end user of what you're going to get. So you really have to test it and see what's there, and it's kind of interesting, the results. So like I've shown in the other hose end sprayer videos that I've done, what I'm really mainly interested in is figuring out what the ounces per 1,000 square feet are for each of these sprayers, because that's really what we need to have when we're doing hose end sprayers for lawn use. We want to know how many ounces per 1,000 square feet we need to put into the container. And unfortunately, when you get a product like this, it's really not clear exactly what the performance of the sprayer is going to be, so you have to test it. So in this case, I've taken the K-1 sprayers off of each of the three bottles, attached them to the Simple Lawn Solutions bottle, which is semi-transparent, so I can be able to see exactly how much is coming out at the 1,000 square foot point. And then I also then look on my meter in the basement, and I can determine both how many gallons I used as well as what the gallons per minute rate is. And based on that, I can come up with a chart that has a kind of a characteristic of how each of these K-1 sprayers performed compared to each other, and it's quite interesting. So companies like Nelson and Ironite and Simple Lawn Solutions, when they want a K-1 sprayer head to match their product requirements, they can specify the mixing ratio. They can maybe specify something about the flow rate in gallons per minute from Green Garden when they order their sprayer heads. I happen to have these three versions of the K-1, so that I did some testing on it. So the kind of testing I was able to do, I was able to do a gallons per minute test, basically just running it wide open and looking on my meter in the basement at what it was reading out for gallons per minute. I can also, with my 1,000 square foot test area out in my street, I can measure the number of ounces per 1,000 square feet each of the sprayers were able to put out. I can also measure the gallons used to empty the entire 32 ounce contents of each of the containers. And from that, I can then calculate the time to empty the bottle. You can calculate number of ounces per gallon, which equivalent of becomes basically the mixing ratio that exists. And then you can take the advertised square footage for the products and just kind of compare it to how much coverage I was able to get based on the ounces per 1,000 square foot test that I did. And you can see in both cases of the Ironite and the Simple Lawn Solutions, they fell short of what was able to be done. The most interesting piece of information is this ounces per 1,000 square feet, because that's kind of the critical number that you'll find on most of the products we go to spray on the lawn, and generally they're in the mid to high single digits as opposed to something over 10. If you look at the case of the Single Lawn Solutions, putting down 12 ounces per 1,000 square feet and only having 32 ounces in the container, it empties in only a little over 2.5 minutes. Doesn't give you a lot of time to cover what they advertise as 3,200 square feet, which in reality, based on the 12 ounces per 1,000 square feet that I tested, I was able to only do about 2,600 square feet. The 8 ounces per 1,000 square feet is a little bit better point for just the average person for a sprayer in their yard. So I'll probably be using more of the Ironite K-1 sprayer for a lot of the applications I'll have around my yard. So I hope this information is helpful. Have a good day. I thought a good thing to share here also is I do have a spreadsheet I put together which calculates based on the size of the bottle and about what it comes out to equivalent for a cost per 1,000 square feet and ounces per 1,000 square feet as advertised by the company for each of these product types that we would put down on our lawns. A humic, some fertilizer, green punch, and so forth. And you can see some of them require pretty high number of ounces per 1,000 square feet. Ironite, the one that I was using the sprayer from, is about 6 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Many of the next products are in the high single digits, mid single digits. So it seemed like that Ironite K-1 sprayer head is kind of mostly compatible with these levels of concentrate, and that's why it's kind of a major consideration using a sprayer that's kind of in that same ballpark as performance in ounces per 1,000 square feet. So put together a chart like this for yourself based on the kind of chemicals you use in your lawn, and you won't have to be crunching a lot of numbers or worried about whether the sprayer is going to do what you think it's going to do. All right, that's it for today.